There are a lot of really cool camo and paint jobs out there for ARs. The problem is a lot of them require a lot of specialty equipment, Cerakote. A lot of them are expensive, or a lot of them require a lot of talent. I did this paint job here at home. Only took me a couple hours, including the disassembly of the rifle and the painting, and it only cost me a few dollars. I think it looks pretty cool. I'll show you what I did. Welcome to Think Like a Free Man. So the materials we are going to use for this project are just Rust-Oleum camouflage spray paint, couple different colors here, some duct tape and some masking tape. And the reason we use the duct tape because sometimes the masking tape doesn't stick where you need it. Scissors, an X-Acto knife to cut out the tape where you need it, and maybe a little screwdriver to stuff it in places. Rubbing alcohol to get to kind of degrease the gun before we start. There's probably better stuff to use for degreaser, but this is what I had around the house. These are little cotton pads I lifted from my daughter's makeup counter. I'm sure they won't miss it. And we got some camouflage duct tape here that we may use. Not sure what I'm going to do with this yet, but I have it here. This camouflage duct tape may or may not be used. Now I've got the machine disassembled and all taped off. I didn't record that process because I think it's pretty straightforward. You know, in cases like this, I think you can use the masking tape. In other places like this handle or this on this stock where it's kind of a rubberized material, this masking tape doesn't stick. So I just placed duct tape over it and just trimmed around it with an X-Acto knife in places like here, around the trigger. I stuffed the where the charging handle goes with paper towel. I covered up this. This says DDM 4V11 Pro. I think it just kind of looks cool. There's another logo here. I think it's a 5.56 that looks cool. I took all the front trigger, or excuse me, the front sight, the rear sight. I took the scope out of this because I don't want those painted. I have a little BCM small handle up here that I didn't want painted either. So everything's disassembled, and I'm just going to start painting. So I'm starting with a light base coat. You want to make sure all the gaps that where paint can go in are covered. You know, purists might say I should have covered this. I should cover the bolt release here, but I've got the trigger covered. I've got the charging handle area covered. I've got the mag well covered. I've done this before. It seems like it's fine. Purists might think I'm an idiot, and well, maybe they're right, but this should work. All right, here we go. All right, just moving on to the next few parts here. This is the stock. Notice I have it taped off here. I've got the rubberized pieces taped off and trimmed. I've got this button taped off. Hopefully that should be good enough. A little bit of get rid of that. Okay. Okay, we got the scope mount here, and I just taped it off because I didn't want any paint to interfere with the scope, where the scope will be going inside these rings, because it's a pretty tight fit. I got the bottom taped off too to not interfere with the threads. I think this should be good enough. Okay, now for the rail. Okay, things are drying up pretty well here. So we're back, and I'm going to go, I think this is a dark green. I'm going to start by spraying it fairly close on top, and to get it a little darker on the top, then I'm going to fade it out, and I'm actually going to be spraying from quite a distance at the lower areas of each of the parts. And what that's going to do is going to create this dark spot, and it's going to hopefully fade to this, and you have a nice a nice stone kind of look to it. So as you can see, the top part's fairly dark. Hopefully that shows up. And the sides are a lot lighter, and it's got kind of a speckled look to it, almost like an aged or worn look to it. And we still have a few more colors to go, and I may do a couple coats. We'll see how it goes. In fact, I might go darker on the top right now. Okay, go on to the next part now. Okay, we are back, and I'm going to be putting brown on this, and I'm going to be putting the brown a little heavier up here and then fading it in. So I'm going to start maybe 18 inches back, start coming in maybe about a foot away until this just darkens up again, and I get a little bit more brown speckling here. So we'll see how this works. This is always an experiment. And you can see that I'm kind of moving the camera up and down, up and down. It's kind of hard to see with the angle of the camera, but I'm just sweeping it by. Yeah, we'll go on to the next piece. Okay, the last color is a light green, and I'm going to spray this from a distance, so it just kind of peppers this from a very far, maybe 18 inches away, and kind of gives it a light coat. I have to be careful because if I get too close, this light color will just streak this, and which I guess in the grand scheme of things isn't that big a deal, but I'm going to try to just keep a distance on it. Yeah, I'm about 18 inches away, just spraying it oh so gently. You can see that, hopefully you can see that fine mist just coming into the screen. Okay, last thing, putting on this clear coat. If you don't, this gets like chalky and it can peel really easily. Not that that's a big deal, because I'm kind of going for this weathered kind of look to it, but this makes it more comfortable to hold, less chalky, that kind of thing. So a couple coats of this. So you got to spray this on. You'll see how I do that. It's pretty straightforward, just like the spray paint. Let it dry, and it's really humid today, so it's taken forever to finish this project. Painting only takes about 10 minutes, but you do the paint job and you got to wait 30-40 minutes for things to dry. So without further ado, let's get going. You know, the reality of it is you don't really need to camouflage your rifle. I sort of like it because when the rifle's out in the sun, I use a little bit lighter color. Doesn't get as hot. In theory, it does blend in if that was ever an important factor. It does make the rifle unique. You know, you're out at the shooting range or you're out with friends, your rifle stands out if you do a custom camo job. And if anything, you know, it's quite a bit of fun to do, and it looks cool. So whatever you choose, just make sure you always think like a free man.